Alright guys, so we went to our first car show, Steel Days, Utah Steel Days, American Fork Steel Days. The truck did pretty good. We had probably about 2,000 people that come out, look at the truck. I personally talked to maybe 500, 800 people throughout the weekend. It was a pretty fun show. But the one thing that I noticed that everybody looked at when we went to the show was the first thing they went to look at was the bed. Now, not having the frame done and the air suspension done, it was just, basically an entry level truck. I had a lot of people look at the raw frame. It actually, a lot more people looked at it than I thought were going to. It stood out pretty well. You guys watched last week's video, you'll see the video of the truck at the show. But what we're going to start with now is I've got it back inside the garage, got the doors off. We're going to get this cab all primered and ready, get that ready for the next show. Then we're going to take and get the bed all primered and get it ready for the show. And then after that's done, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take the fenders and I'm going to cut out the fender spots so that the tire and wheel can kind of fit inside the fender. And then we're going to build a frame, which I've already got the metal for. It's going to go underneath here. That's going to connect the front of the truck to the bed of the truck. So that's kind of the status update on the truck. The show was really awesome. We had a lot of fun, had a lot of people come out. We probably sold about 4 jobs from it, and I probably passed out about, I don't know, maybe about 100 flyers or something. But it was just good exposure. It was good to just get the word out there that this truck's being built. It was a lot of kids came up, a lot of younger kids, from like maybe 8 to 12 were really interested in the truck. Not so much the older generation people, but more of the younger kids, the kids who want to learn how to do this kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to start with this week. We're going to get ready to get the body all primed, get that ready so that at the next show it just looks more uniform. I want to show progression with each show that we go to. So we have 4 more this year here in Utah, and then next year we're going to be traveling the circuit, head through Texas, Las Vegas, and California. So alright, let's go ahead and get started. So I've got about half of this done. I kind of wanted to share some of the things that we're using to do this. Now, this right here I did last night with just 100 grit, and I used that 100 grit. Sorry, let me grab the right one. So I have 2 of these. These are just DAs that I bought at Home Depot. I recommend using a 1/4 one, especially if you're going to be doing it yourself at home. That way your air compressor is not constantly running, especially when you're doing this much stuff. So this is 100 grit, and this is basically what I purchased from Home Depot. It's the red disc, which lasts longer. So that's 100 grit, and I went over it, the whole thing, with 100 grit on this DA. Then from there, I go over it with this DA, okay? Different DA, different paper. And then on this one, I'm using 220. Same brand, same product, just a kind of a more of a finer grit. Then once all that's done, then what I'm going to do is go over with some acetone and just basically wipe off the grease and that kind of stuff just to get it ready. Now I'm going to do the same process from here down, and I'm just going to run a fast forward clip, but I wanted you to know how to actually do it. If you watch the other videos where we primed the door panels, the fenders, the hood, that kind of stuff, it's the same concept, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew what product to use. So I'm using 220 by Diablo from Home Depot, and then I'm using 100, same paper, same brand. I start with 100 grit, then hit it with 220, and then clean it with some acetone. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and finish the rest of this off, and we'll see you over here on this area. got this part all done. I went over the whole thing with the 100 grit. I went through actually 12 pads just to get all of the leftover remnants from the blasting. There's a little bit of sealer on there, a little bit of original primer, and a little bit of paint, the purple and also black paint. It had been repainted once before, so it was black, but underneath that was purple. Then we had the primer, then we had the sealer. So I was able to get it all off with 100 grit. Now I'm going to spare you the expense of going through and cutting it down with 220. And then my next week's video is going to be us putting the actual epoxy on it and doing the tinting, which we already done previously. But I'm going to save that video for you guys next week. So we're just making a little bit of progress, a little bit of time here. We have 3 more shows to hit before summer is over here in Utah and the winter starts to hit up. So that's going to be it for tonight's video. So please stay tuned to next week where you see us put the primer epoxy on this roof. And we might actually do these side panels at the same time, and that way I get most of the cab done. Then we'll just do the firewall probably on the next video. So alright, well we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.